This is actually one where we talk about the fact that we all know something. This is not going to be surprising information to you guys, but I feel it's important to talk about. This is something from a long time ago, and I think there's so much of this information that we're overwhelmed with it, and we kind of forget, right? Like all the different things that have happened. So this is a video. It was actually published only 5 days ago, but this is information that's existed for a long time from the Business Insider, talking about the fact that they found one of Jeffrey Epstein's black book years before the recent Epstein's file controversy, and it has Donald Trump's name in it. So clear as day there for you. Clear. This is obviously a picture of the book. As you can see, there's parts of this that are all blacked out here.
Phone number in Jeffrey. This is Donald Trump's phone number in Jeffrey Epstein's personal little black book from the 1990s.
From the 1990s.
In 2021, Business Insider obtained an address book no one had ever seen before.
Jeffrey Epstein got away with what he got away with because of who was in his address book.
Yeah, who's in the address book?
What's interesting for us about this book is a new cast of characters who we didn't previously know had interactions with or did business with them.
And look, I'm not saying every single person that had an interaction or was in this black book is, 100% a trafficker, but it would be a good place to start, don't you think? When we say that there's no Epstein client list, when we say that there's no files, that it's all a Obama hoax, let's say all of that is true. Let's even say the hoax is true. There's a black book right here. There's a black book right here with people's names, addresses, and phone numbers. And you have a person. Look, if this is me or you, right? If your significant other passes away under, suspect circumstances, you are a suspect. Like if your wife or husband were to slip and hit their head in the bathtub, and you were to come home and find them, you would be a suspect in that case. You would be investigated, and hopefully you'd be cleared. I don't know about some of you guys, but you'd be a suspect. This goes back to Joe Rogan saying, man, if they come for Donald Trump, you're next. That's bullshit. They've always been coming for us. Look, if you pee in public, you go on Megan's list. If you are peeing in an alley and somebody sees you, you are it's a misdemeanor, but you are still placed on the Megan's list. Donald Trump could piss in front of everybody in the White House, and no one would ever say a goddamn thing about it. Larry Ellison could literally slap his dick on your shoulder, and he wouldn't be on Megan's list. These people, when we talk about Joe Rogan, when we say things like, oh, they're coming for him, you're next. These people are out of touch and do not fucking understand what it's like to be me or you. If your name was in this black book, you would be receiving a fucking call from the FBI and a visit from the fucking FBI. 100%. Why aren't we looking into this?
While the Trump administration says it won't disclose more files on Epstein, the older address book reminds us of Epstein's vast connections to prominent figures, including Melania Trump's best friend, Christopher Cuomo's wife, and an advisor in the first Trump administration.
Our first thought was to just do whatever we could to verify that it was real. We've obtained a copy of an address book that we believe belonged to Jeffrey Epstein, and your name and contact information are listed in the book.
I'm a reporter for Insider. I'm just calling.
Dude, I kind of want that job. That's an amazing job. Hi, how's it going? Just got your name out of the Epstein book and wanted to have a conversation. Click.
Everybody who's in this address book who has not previously been publicly associated with Jeffrey Epstein.
We need to make sure it was a real artifact that really represented something about Jeffrey Epstein and his connections to people.
The story is not one that sounds exactly believable. Someone dropped Jeffrey Epstein's address book in the 90s and now belongs to some guy who was on a farm in Vermont.
That is kind of amazing. And look, that's the only way we're going to get any information, guys. This is the only way we're going to get any information at all, is by a fucking somebody dropping the book and some dude that lives on a farm picked that shit up. This guy has released more of the Epstein files than Donald fucking Trump has. That's where we're at right now.
I'm very careful not to put my fingerprints on the book, not to put any sort
That's
of
a good call.
DNA or hair, anything like that.
Good call, dog.
My name is Christopher Halali. Where should I look? I currently live on my wife's farm. As a student of national security issues, imperialism, I was fascinated by the Jeffrey Epstein case. There are names that are
Damn, this guy's
highlighted,
got the
and I
whole
think
list.
One of the most notable highlighted names is former President Donald Trump.
My name is Denise Ondeko. Ta-da! And I believe I found
She picked
the
it
book
up.
sometime in the 90s. Walking along Fifth Avenue, and I just noticed a small black book on the sidewalk.
So you're pretty sure that it was somewhere between 54.
Yes, it could have been here or there.
We have
Dude, I would have been prank phone calling Donald Trump's ass so much.
spoken extensively with Denise, and we found her story to be credible.
I saw the book, picked it up, glanced through it. Damn. It was filled with names like Kennedy, Rockefeller, Trump, etc. And it was like, whoa, this is bizarre. So I kept it for the New York City artifact that it was.
Did you know who Jeffrey Epstein was at the time?
No. When I rediscovered the book last year, it was like, holy, it's Jeffrey Epstein.
A Manhattan billionaire arrested yesterday on federal sex trafficking charges.
Accusations from indecent exposure to inappropriate touching to rape.
I went to tips at New York Times. I sent something to Rachel Maddow. I just figured nobody was interested. Come the end of November, I really needed brakes for my car and I didn't have enough money. And I thought, what the hell? You know, f you, Jeffrey Epstein.
Dude, she offered it. She offered it to people and they didn't take it. Like, that says something about legacy media, right? Like, I mean, we've all talked about for so long the shit that they're willing to cover up for these people. The fact that the owners of legacy media are connected to these people. We saw during the Stormy Daniels cover-up trial that Donald Trump was convicted of 34 felonies, by the way. His National Enquirer buddy that bought and killed those stories. Like, that's crazy. That's crazy. She offered it to those people and none of them took it.
You know, you paid for my brakes. So I put it on eBay.
It was right there for everybody to see. Most people would think it's a fake or a forgery. I took the risk. When I received the book in the mail, my heart was
Mommy
nearly jumping out of
Epstein,
my
bro.
chest.
Hold on, let's go
I
back.
felt like Indiana Jones. When I received the book
Hold on. Where's Mommy Epstein at? Where was it?
in the mail, my heart was nearly jumping out of my. When I received the
There it is. Mommy Epstein. Oh, there's Ghislaine. Ghislaine's up in it. That's good. Good to see. Ghislaine's in there.
book in the mail, my heart was nearly jumping out of my chest. You know, I felt like Indiana Jones. It's a dark
That's
book.
like the
It's a
opposite
book
of the
that
Holy
I think
Grail.
has a lot of suffering behind it, a lot of pain, a lot of evil, some would say.
I
felt
would
that
say.
it was important for people to see who Epstein knew and what sort of network of power was behind him.
This dude
Right
is
now
serious.
I'm packaging the book for forensic analysis and handing it off to a team of journalists. If it comes back and it's not authentic, it's a pretty awesome forgery, I have to say.
Oh, we're gonna find
One
out.
of the moments in the public waking up to the magnitude of his crimes was the publication in 2015 of an address book belonging to Jeffrey Epstein. And what was stunning about it was it contained the names of Donald Trump and Mick Jagger,
Oh shit, Mick
Prince
Jagger.
Andrew, Bill Clinton, And it sort of woke people up to the fact that this was a guy who had access to the halls of power.
Those are the people
Our
that we already
reporting also
knew.
found about 220 new names that didn't appear in this other address book.
If someone were to concoct a fake book to trick journalists, they would start by taking those names from the other public little black book and putting them in this one. So we start by sort of correlating the names, and then we just started calling people in the book whose names have not been previously associated with Jeffrey Epstein.
Hello?
Hi, I'm trying to reach Elena Kayem.
This is she?
Hi, I'm calling for Suzanne Urcha. Would you be able to
Damn, they're
connect
putting
me
their
with her?
names all up in this.
I'm trying to reach Joan Severance.
We don't currently represent Joan. The number you dialed is not in service.
I'm trying to reach Michael Cutlip.
This is he?
Elena Barmakova,
Who's calling?
I'm working on a story about an address book.
that we believe belonged to Jeffrey Epstein.
Do you mind if I'm recording?
No way they put all these people's names in this video and it's not accurate. No way. 100%. That's a real book.
This call?
I do mind.
Okay, give me 1 second.
Yeah, I haven't seen or spoken to Jeffrey since the late 90s.
For them to say, yes, I knew him in the 90s, gives credence to
Bro, everybody's like, yeah, you know, before all that shit came out, like, I totally cut ties with him. I barely knew the dude.
the idea that the book is real.
It's not the case that everybody who was in his address book was an enabler of Jeffrey Epstein. It's more adding to the body of knowledge to keep chipping away at the mystery.
She was not interested in speaking.
These are some of the
And those are the motherfuckers I would be concerned about. The people that didn't want to speak, like the people that are like, oh yeah, I'll tell you, like fucking, yeah, he knew me back in the 90s and like, yeah, it's probably in his book. Like those people, I'm probably not as concerned about. The people that are like, I don't want shit to do with this, those are the people I'm concerned about.
prominent names we reached out to. None of them had ever been publicly associated with Epstein before.
Suzanne Urcha, Melania Trump's best friend. She later married Woody Johnson, who now owns the New York Jets.
Carl Icahn, special advisor to Donald Trump during his presidency.
Christina Grieven, the wife of Christopher Cuomo.
Jill Harth, accused
The wife of Christopher Cuomo. I wonder why they want Andrew Cuomo back in office so much. I wonder why they want it so bad.
Donald Trump of sexual assault.
Stephen Ratner led Barack Obama's efforts to resuscitate Detroit.
Marty Peretz, longtime mentor to former Vice President Al Gore.
And when people say, well, Biden had it, why didn't he release the files? I continue to say this. I'm not going to be one of these people that sits there and says, oh, it's just the people I hate in that book. It's just the people on the other side of the aisle that I'm against the way that they want to do things. It's just those people. No, I don't believe that that it's just the people that I want to be in there. I believe that the people that were associated, like they said, once again, not proof of any trafficking, but they should be investigated. There should be follow-up to this.
Gelb was a legendary New York Times columnist. Sandy Warner was the chairman and CEO of JP Morgan until 2000. Billionaire John Katzimatidis, who told us that he offered Epstein a ride and Epstein sent him a 3-foot bottle of champagne in thanks. And this just goes to show that in the 1990s, he was sort of cultivating a much larger orbit that we can see evidence later on.
How you doing?
We also engaged the services of a forensic examiner who's familiar with authenticating documents.
I was cautious because I didn't want to cross over into a area that the FBI was investigating.
So how what do you need to do with this?
Dennis Ryan, and I'm a forensic document examiner. I'm confident that the book is probably circa 1995 to 2000. One of the factors was the Gestetner imprint that's on the Velo bind. Their organization was certainly out of production by 1998 to 2000. It would be very difficult to make up a book with that imprint.
Oh, see, this is why I like these videos. This is why, if you guys don't watch CoffeeZilla, you should watch CoffeeZilla's videos on Epstein, on Trump and Epstein. I love watching videos where you have experts. And one of the things about MAGA, right, is MAGA has created this this criticism of experts that within their own cult now they don't trust anybody that's an expert. The only people that they trust are outliers, and that is why Donald Trump is why they have so much adoration for him. Right? Is they believe that he's an outlier, even though he isn't. He's created this facade of being different than all of these politicians, being different than all the other elites. He's created a facade, and they've fallen for it because they're aggressively gullible human beings. But I myself love experts. If I want to hear about physics, I want to hear about it from Brian Cox. If I want to watch a video on space, on black holes, I'm going to watch an Astrum video. I want to watch people that 100% can prove that they know what they're talking about. I love this shit.
The most important thing is the change in the area code.
So here's Donald Trump's entry in the 1990s address book. You can see that his Palm Beach phone numbers feature a 407 area code. Now, if we look at Trump's entry in the address book from the early 2000s, you can see that he has the same phone numbers listed for Palm Beach, but with a different area code, 561, and that area code was introduced in 1996. Jeffrey Epstein is still such a mystery. Over a year after he's died,
Accused sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein is dead.
Jeffrey Epstein's attorneys questioning whether his death was a suicide.
I think my biggest takeaway is that Epstein had an extremely large sphere of influence, and we're not even sure about the true extent of it.
I think this book elaborates on that in a different era, a different time, and with some different people that we didn't know were a part of that circle that eventually became a part of the reason that Jeffrey Epstein could get away with raping and abusing women and girls. And I think...
Yep, status and connections. Look, once you're rich and you're powerful, it's very hard for any of those people to be removed from that status. Like, you see this oftentimes with who was the young woman that claimed that she was like a heiress in Germany, right? And she went to prison. People will still, even though that she was a scam artist, even though she was a con artist, rich people will still prop her up now because she's created this wealth and status within her. She's probably got information on them as well. People like Jeffrey Epstein can get away with these types of things in these spheres, in these circles, by having the connections and status. And that's a lot like if you're like just me or you, and you know somebody, you know a couple, and you know that one of them cheated on the other one. I don't know about you, but I can't exist within that circle anymore, right? Because I can't live with the information that I know that one of my friends has done something bad to another. I know there's like a lot of people that are like, oh shit, we can't be friends. That's fine. That's fine. I'm okay with that because I can't do that. I don't want any part of what you're doing that I think is just like morally incorrect, right? Now, it's one thing if, you know, you're going to come out with that and say, hey, you know, I did this shit and I want to get off my chest. Then we can be friends again. And we can talk about your failures and in your road to redemption. But I can't be a part of that. And for these people to do this on this level and to keep quiet, because all of these people are keeping quiet. We've said this before. They're not talking to wealthy elites that were connected to Jeffrey Epstein. They're not talking to the victims. They're talking to Ghislaine Maxwell, the perpetrator, the person who was convicted of doing these things. That means they don't want the information from the victims because it doesn't coincide with what they want people to believe. And it means that they don't want to expose the elites that are their friends that they have connection and status with. Instead, they want to go to Ghislaine Maxwell, commute her sentence, and get her to say that Donald Trump had no relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. And that's a huge fucking tell.
I think it's important to keep in mind how power is able to avoid accountability. And the more we can remember what Epstein's actions represent, the more we can prevent people from escaping accountability now and in the future.
How about we start now?
What a weird turn of events, how serendipitous the whole thing has played out.
Oh, she touched it with her fingers.
Unbelievable. I just
Everybody else
remember
wearing
having
gloves.
That thought. Should I
I guess
keep
she's
this?
probably touched it before.
If it was a heavy something or other, I probably would have tossed it.
I think it's an interesting story, you know. One book with the FBI, one book on the farm. It's fascinating.
That's crazy. Insider reached out to each person mentioned by name in this video. I'm not going to read all their names. They did not respond to multiple email messages and calls. This guy hung up when a reporter asked about Jeffrey Epstein. 14 people spoke on record and confirmed they met Epstein in the 90s. Insiders reporting did not show any connection between the people listed in Epstein's book and his crimes. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please like and subscribe and hit that notification bell, and check out that video on the screen now.